Hey guys, this is Wandrix, back with a new video. The Great Europe, a continent celebrated for its rich history, cultural diversity, and unreal landscapes. It's a dream destination for millions, offering a glimpse into both the past and the future. But beneath the postcard-perfect exterior is a hidden reality. Certain European countries are struggling with a cocktail of rising crime, political instability, and social unrest. Whether you're a tourist planning your next trip or someone curious about Europe's changing safety landscape, it's essential to know where danger may be lurking. In today's video, we'll explore the 10 most dangerous European countries right now. These nations have found themselves at the crossroads of crisis, with risks ranging from skyrocketing crime rates and corruption to protests and conflicts. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand why these countries are facing such challenges but also gain valuable insights into staying safe while traveling. So, make sure you watch until the very end. You may be surprised to see some of the countries on this list. Ukraine has become the epicenter of one of the world's most intense ongoing conflicts. The war with Russia has not only caused immense human suffering but also turned many parts of the country into war zones. Think about this. Over 8 million Ukrainians have been displaced internally and across Europe, seeking refuge from the relentless attacks on their homeland. Major cities like Kiev, Kharkiv, and Mariupol have faced destruction on an unimaginable scale, with residential areas and infrastructure turned to rubble. The country is under a level 4 do not travel advisory from several governments, and for good reason. Beyond the direct risks of violence, supply shortages and collapsing healthcare systems make everyday life a struggle. But amid the destruction, there's a story of resilience. Ukrainians continue to fight for their sovereignty and survival, proving that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit endures. If you're considering visiting Ukraine, note that it's not a place for tourism at the moment. The risks are far too great. Turkey, a land of incredible diversity, culture, and history. However, it's also grappling with significant safety challenges that make it a risky destination. In recent years, Turkey has faced political unrest, economic instability, and sporadic terror attacks. Large cities like Istanbul and Ankara, while captivating, have been sites of bombings and unrest in the past. Additionally, freedom of expression is increasingly under attack, leading to protests that sometimes turn violent. The southeastern region bordering Syria poses even greater risks, with spillover violence and military operations creating an unpredictable environment. For travelers, Turkey remains a fascinating place to visit, but caution is key. Stick to well-traveled areas, avoid political discussions, and monitor local news for developments. The United Kingdom, one of Europe's most influential nations, is known for its royal heritage, historic landmarks, and cultural contributions. However, the UK is currently grappling with challenges that have affected its safety and stability, making it a surprising addition to this list. One of the most pressing issues is the rise in violent crime, particularly in major cities like London, Birmingham, and Manchester. Knife crime, in particular, has been a growing concern, with rates significantly increasing over the past decade. Tourists are often advised to avoid certain neighborhoods after dark and to remain vigilant in crowded areas. Think about this. Brexit brought significant political and economic upheaval, leading to increased tensions within the country. Protests against government policies, labor strikes, and disputes over immigration have become more frequent. These events often disrupt public transportation and create an unpredictable environment for residents and visitors alike. Additionally, over-tourism in historic areas like Oxford, Edinburgh, and Bath has placed immense strain on local infrastructure. Overcrowded streets, long queues, and limited accommodations can make travel frustrating and even unsafe during peak seasons. Despite these challenges, the UK remains a top destination for millions of travelers each year. Its iconic landmarks, cultural richness, and historical depth continue to captivate visitors, as long as they take the necessary precautions and stay informed about current events. France, a country synonymous with romance, art, and culinary excellence, has long been a favorite destination for millions of tourists, but beneath its timeless charm lies a series of challenges that have cast a shadow over its allure in recent years. While Paris dazzles with its Eiffel Tower and art-filled museums, the reality of modern France is more complex than its picture-perfect postcards. One of the most significant concerns in France is its rising crime rate, particularly in urban centers like Paris, Marseille, and Lyon. Pickpocketing, scams, and theft are common, especially in tourist-heavy areas such as the Champs-Élysées and Montmartre. Organized groups often target visitors at popular landmarks and crowded metro stations. What's more, violent crime, though less common, has seen an uptick in certain neighborhoods, making vigilance a priority for anyone traveling through the country. Now, think about this. France has been a hotspot for social and political unrest. Protests and strikes have become almost a cultural institution, but in recent years, they've turned more aggressive. Movements like the Gilets-Jaunes, Yellow Vests have highlighted deep-rooted dissatisfaction with economic inequality and government policies. These demonstrations often disrupt public transport, block roads, and sometimes turn violent, particularly in Paris and other major cities. France's suburban areas, known as banlieues, have also faced growing tensions. These neighborhoods, often home to immigrant populations, are struggling with high unemployment, inadequate housing, and strained relations with law enforcement. Incidents of unrest and clashes between residents and police have painted a grim picture of life in these areas, which rarely align with the idyllic image of France. Environmental issues also play a role. Wildfires in the south, particularly in Provence and along the Côte d'Azur, have intensified due to climate change. This not only poses a threat to residents, but also disrupts tourism in one of the country's most beautiful regions. Air pollution in cities like Paris is another growing concern, prompting occasional restrictions on vehicle usage. Despite these challenges, France remains an iconic destination with much to offer. However, visitors must remain informed, vigilant, and adaptable to truly enjoy its beauty while navigating its modern-day complexities. Italy, the heart of the Roman Empire and the cradle of the Renaissance, is a country where history and culture come alive. From its mouth-watering cuisine to its breathtaking landscapes, Italy has a magnetic appeal. However, behind its postcard-perfect facade lies a set of challenges that have left the nation grappling with significant social, economic, and environmental issues. One of the most pressing concerns in Italy is its aging infrastructure. Bridges, roads, and public transport systems, particularly in southern Italy, are in dire need of repair. The collapse of the Morandi Bridge in Genoa in 2018 was a tragic reminder of the country's infrastructure problems. For travelers, navigating these outdated systems can lead to delays, cancellations, and safety concerns, especially during peak travel seasons. Now think about this. Italy's cities, while beautiful, are often overcrowded. Venice, for instance, receives millions of tourists annually, overwhelming its fragile ecosystem and infrastructure. The city has even introduced entrance fees to control the influx of visitors. This over-tourism not only diminishes the experience for travelers but also puts immense pressure on local resources, creating friction between residents and tourists. Crime is another issue, particularly petty theft in major cities like Rome, Naples, and Milan. Pickpockets operate in crowded areas like train stations, public transport, and tourist attractions. In Naples, tourists are also warned about scooter thieves who target unsuspecting pedestrians. While violent crime is less common, visitors should remain cautious, especially in busy urban environments. Italy's economic struggles have added to its challenges. The country has one of the highest public debts in Europe, leading to austerity measures and frequent political instability. Strikes and protests, particularly in the public transport sector, are common and can disrupt travel plans without warning. These issues often stem from deeper frustrations with unemployment, particularly among the youth, and regional disparities between the affluent north and the struggling south. Environmental concerns are also mounting in Italy. Albania, a land of stunning natural beauty and a rich cultural heritage, has been emerging as a hidden gem for travelers. Its pristine beaches along the Adriatic, the rugged mountains of the north, and the ancient ruins scattered throughout the country make it an attractive destination. But beneath its growing popularity lies a reality many visitors overlook. Albania faces significant challenges when it comes to organized crime and corruption, which are deeply embedded in certain sectors of society. While much of this activity doesn't directly target tourists, its ripple effects can create a less stable environment. For example, disputes between rival criminal groups often lead to violence, especially in regions where law enforcement is sparse or ineffective. Rural areas, in particular, can be a cause for concern. In these remote locations, lack of adequate police presence and emergency services means that travelers are essentially on their own in case of trouble. Think about this. While adventuring off the beaten path might seem enticing, it can expose you to risks like theft, scams, or even violence. Even in urban centers like Tirana, petty crimes such as pickpocketing and tourist scams are not uncommon. You might hear stories of overcharging taxi drivers or shady tour guides offering too good to be true deals, but it's not all grim. Albania is making strides to improve its global reputation and attract more tourists. Investments in infrastructure, growing tourism education, and international collaborations are slowly shifting the narrative. However, as a traveler, it's crucial to remain cautious. Stick to well-reviewed accommodations, hire guides from reputable agencies, and always let someone know your travel plans if venturing into remote areas. Albania is a country of immense potential, but its safety concerns are real and shouldn't be ignored. When you think of Sweden, the first things that come to mind are likely its peaceful landscapes, high standard of living, and progressive values. But there's another side to Sweden that has been making headlines in recent years: a growing issue with gang violence and organized crime. While Sweden remains one of the safest countries globally for general tourism, cities like Malmö, Gothenburg, and certain parts of Stockholm have seen a disturbing rise in gang-related shootings and violent crime. These incidents are often localized and don't directly affect tourists, but their increasing frequency has raised alarms even among locals. Now think about this. Sweden has long been seen as a beacon of stability, but the current challenges highlight how even the most peaceful nations aren't immune to social unrest. Much of the violence is tied to disputes over control of the drug trade, with rival gangs clashing in residential areas. Innocent bystanders have occasionally been caught in the crossfire, adding to the public's anxiety. Petty crimes like pickpocketing and scams are rare but not unheard of, especially in crowded areas like public transportation hubs and tourist hotspots. Sweden also faces growing issues with cybercrime and identity theft, so travelers should be cautious when using public Wi-Fi or sharing sensitive information online. Despite these concerns, Sweden's charm remains intact for those who stick to safer areas and stay vigilant. The country's rich history, natural wonders, and cultural experiences still make it a worthwhile destination, but awareness is key. Greece, a nation synonymous with ancient history, crystal clear waters, and mouth-watering cuisine. For millions of tourists, Greece represents the perfect getaway. However, the country is not without its challenges. Years of economic instability have left lasting scars on Greek society. Unemployment rates, especially among the youth, remain high, and austerity measures have strained public services like healthcare and law enforcement. In urban areas like Athens and Thessaloniki, protests and demonstrations against government policies are common, and these events can quickly escalate into violence. For tourists, petty crimes like pickpocketing are the most significant concern. Crowded areas such as the metro, bus stations, and tourist-heavy spots like Monastiraki Square are hotspots for theft. Scammers are also known to target visitors, offering fake goods or overcharging for services. But think about this. Greece's struggles don't overshadow its immense cultural and historical contributions. Tourists who take basic precautions like securing their belongings and avoiding large demonstrations can still enjoy everything this beautiful country has to offer. Serbia is a country with a rich cultural history, incredible food, and welcoming locals. However, it's also a nation grappling with political tensions, economic challenges, and social unrest. The legacy of the Yugoslav wars still looms over the region, creating deep political divides and tensions with neighboring countries. Corruption remains a significant issue, affecting everything from public services to the judiciary system. This lack of trust in institutions has led to frequent protests, which occasionally turn violent. Crime rates in Serbia are moderate, with petty theft being the primary concern for visitors. However, organized crime remains a problem, particularly in the form of smuggling and illicit trade. Travelers should also be cautious when venturing into rural areas, where infrastructure is less developed and emergency services may be limited. Despite these challenges, Serbia has much to offer, from its stunning landscapes to its rich cultural traditions. Belgium is often regarded as a hub of European culture, history, and politics. With its stunning medieval towns, world-class chocolates, and the headquarters of the European Union and NATO, the country is a magnet for tourists and diplomats alike. However, beneath this polished exterior lies a set of challenges that have placed Belgium on the radar for safety concerns. One of the most pressing issues is rising crime rates in urban areas, particularly in cities like Brussels, Antwerp, and Charleroi. Petty theft, pickpocketing, and scams are common in crowded tourist spots, and visitors are often targeted due to their unfamiliarity with the area. More concerning is the growing trend of organized crime, with drug trafficking and violent gang activities becoming increasingly prominent in some neighborhoods. Now think about this. Belgium's international importance also makes it a target for political unrest and terrorism. The country has faced several high-profile terrorist incidents in recent years, and while security measures have been tightened significantly, the risk remains a concern for residents and visitors alike. Demonstrations and protests, often tied to economic grievances or international events, can also disrupt daily life in major cities. Another issue is over-tourism, particularly in places like Bruges, where the influx of visitors has strained local infrastructure and created friction with residents. Overcrowding not only detracts from the experience but can also lead to safety hazards, such as stampedes or accidents in confined spaces. Despite these challenges, Belgium remains a fascinating and vibrant destination. By staying vigilant, avoiding risky areas, and following local advice, travelers can still enjoy its rich culture, history, and culinary delights while minimizing potential risks. As we've seen, even the most enchanting destinations can have their hidden dangers. From rising crime rates to political unrest, these European countries highlight the importance of staying informed and cautious. But remember, danger doesn't define these nations entirely. They also have stories of resilience, beauty, and hope waiting to be explored. So, if you're planning a trip, do your research, take necessary precautions, and always prioritize your safety. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments. Have you visited any of these countries? What was your experience? Thank you for watching.